everyone,
And welcome back to the Mission Accomplished podcast,
where we.
showcase the lives of those who have accomplished much.
My name is Lemuel Minamo, otherwise known as Minamski.
And I am Tendo Waweru, otherwise known as Wawesh. And today we have a very special
Special guest only.
And we'll let him introduce himself.
Hi everyone, my name is Kags and I work at an organization called Open Institute. But I also really like to have fun doing different things like poetry.
Is Open Institute, can you open up the idea for us to understand more what it is about Open
Absolutely.
Institute?
We believe that you are the boss. And so if government has your money, when we pay taxes, it has our money, then that means that they should tell us what did they do with your money.
Amen.
Because if
Amen.
you're sent by your parents to go to the shop, you must come back with change and you must show what you did, isn't it?
Yes.
If we send government to fix a hospital for us, they have to report to us as well. So that's the job that we do. How I came to work at the Open Institute was a long road, but it essentially meant that first I went to school, and then I went to university, and I became a marketer. And at one point I realized that I really cared about the government telling us what they're doing with our money. And so at that point, I decided to form the organization. So I started the organization. That was in 2012.
That was the year we were born.
That was the year I
That's
was
the year you were
born.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's the year so you're as old as the Open Institute. And the Open Institute is working with governments here in Kenya, but also in many other countries in Africa, to make sure that they are open with us, to make sure that we know what's happening, so that we have power.
Did you come up with the idea? Did you come up with the idea of Open Institute by yourself, or was there like a group of friends, or something that you saw that inspired you to create it, or what drove you to
start it?
Yeah.
Well, what happened was that I have a couple of friends that I've worked with for a long time.
Yeah.
And we always wanted to do interesting things with government. And one time we said, we are not doing well. And so we started having an idea about setting up an organization, but we didn't know what it was going to be called. In fact, at one point it had a really long name, like the name was a whole sentence, Center for Open Governance and something. And then at some point we were sitting in a restaurant and we said, you know what, let's keep it simple. We want government to be open with us, so let's call it the Open Institute. And that's how we started.
That's really cool. So have you always wanted to become an entrepreneur like you are? Or was it something that happened maybe after college, campus? Yeah.
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because I always wanted to make the rules and not follow the rules.
That's
right?
something
So
a lot of people want.
Right? So you want to kind of figure out how you can responsibly make rules and you can responsibly live your life, but on your own terms.
Yeah.
So on that basis, I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I wanted to create jobs for other people. And I wanted things to go a certain way that nobody else was seeing it. So because I was the only one who could see it, then it means that I have to be an entrepreneur.
Okay. So if your 15-year-old self was to come to the person today, then what do you think they would say to you, or what would be their reaction about what you have accomplished today?
I think they'd be really excited. 15-year-old me would probably be really excited about the fact that I travel a lot, because 15-year-old me always dreamt about traveling.
Yeah.
15-year-old me would also be really excited about the fact that I play a lot with computers, because I really like computers.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer too, so I really enjoy my games.
What's your favorite game?
My favorite game, Need for Speed.
Need for
Speed is my
Speed.
biggest, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What can you tell us more about let's go way back, about your childhood, maybe your upbringing?
Well, yeah, so I grew up in the rural areas. So I grew up in a place called Kilifi. The beautiful thing about Kilifi is that there's a beach.
Yeah.
So I grew up near the beach. And the kind of things that I used to do when I was a kid is I used to go there's something called a jetty that's like a bridge that's going out into the sea. And we used to go to the tippy end of that and sit there and fish. And then sometimes we'd jump off and swim in those days.
That's really
in
cool.
that place. So we had a lot of fun as kids. In those days, there were no computers, there were no phones. Well, there was a phone. It's just that it was a house phone.
Landline.
It was a landline, right? So you had to be home to receive a call. So the only games that we could play with were games that we made up for ourselves. So things like if you wanted a ball, you couldn't go buy a ball. What you do is that you make a ball. If you wanted a toy car, you make it. And that was the fun things about my childhood life.
Speaking about games, do you like sports?
You know, I'm weird in the sense that I don't like doing sports as much as I like watching sports.
Yeah.
I used to play tennis when I was a kid, a lot, but I've always been more of an expert card player. I'm an expert chess player. Games that where you're sitting down, like board games.
Yeah.
Like if you played with me Monopoly, I'm taking all your money.
That's cool.
Then you should play Tendo. Tendo is also good in games like Monopoly. He knows how to make the right deals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. Any day.
Yeah.
If you guys want us to record them playing Monopoly, make sure you tell your friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell their mom, to tell their grandma, to tell their grandchildren to watch the show and help us reach like a really big milestone for our podcasts. Yeah. Make
Sounds
our
good.
show go worldwide if you want to see them playing Monopoly. Which, let me tell you a secret, it's going to be intense.
It's
Yeah.
going to be intense because I'm really good at it.
Or maybe we'll just be playing in a tent. Yeah.
So, what were some of your biggest accomplishments working with the Open Institute?
Well, I think the absolute biggest one is that the year before you say you were born in 2012.
Yes.
The year before you were born, we got Kenya to do something big called open data. So the idea behind open data is that they needed to put on computers everything there was about government. So all the information needed to be put online, and they were really against it until that year. So in 2011, we succeeded in getting them to do that. The other big accomplishment I can say is that I've been able to build an organization that now employs a lot of really, really smart people,
Yeah.
way smarter than me, and who I have the pleasure to sort of work with every day. So we make change everywhere.
Yeah. That's interesting.
What do you see Open Institute doing in the next, say, 10, 15 years?
Well, my hope is that you guys will be working at the Open Institute and that you'll be making it do things in Asia, in South America, and even in the United States where they now need a lot of openness.
That's interesting. So, again, on the flip side, what were some of the challenges you faced working with Open Institute?
Oh Lord, those ones were many. One is that we never had enough money to do what we wanted to do. And when you're a social entrepreneur, what you do is that you do what you need to do regardless of whether the money is there or not. So money was a big challenge.
Yeah.
The other challenge that was there is the fact that nobody wants to be open. Nobody wants to share their information with the rest of the world. And so we find that we always had to struggle a bit with that. And I think the last one is sometimes it can get really tedious.
Yes.
It can get boring. But discipline is us doing what we are supposed to do regardless of whether we want to or
Not.
So that's what we've done so far.
Yeah. So, we've been told to keep it to 15 minutes. So, for the most important question of the podcast, what advice would you give to younger people, maybe older people, or the ones in between, generally people who are aspiring to become like you?
Believe in yourself. Believe in the idea that you have to change the world. Believe that it's a good idea. And then work at it like nothing can stop you. So long as you keep working at it and pushing at it,
Yeah.
you always will win.
This is us signing out. Peace.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
are Mtoto News, a digital platform that empowers children. We curate and create engaging content about and by children. Through audio, video, writing, and infographics, we believe children should be players, not spectators. Through child-led research, we amplify young voices, shaping policies and programs. To partner or donate, send an email to info@mtotonews.com or call 0705855258. Mtoto News, making children visible.